Clones were used to destroy the Jedi Order and usher in Sidious's rise as Emperor, but what would have happened if this didn't go to plan? What if the clones, once Order 66 had been initiated, were somehow turned on Sidious, bringing an end to his entire plan? And what would be the repercussions of this? Now, for this rethink, I'm going to be saying that Order 66 goes on as it does in our own timeline. However, a group of senators and military leaders who are loyal to the Republic get together, and they quickly realise that Sidious is actually making a bid for power, and his evidence against the Jedi is unsubstantial. For this reason, they get together and they manage to initiate Order 65. Now, Order 65 in Legends is a protocol in which the clones are ordered to arrest or kill the Chancellor of the Republic and hand over emergency power to either the Senate or GAR High Command. Now, I highly doubt this order does exist in canon, but for the fun of the theory, we're going to say that they do manage to get enough votes and they do secretly manage to turn the clone army to serve them. For this reason, the Coruscant Guard are going to move to siege and attack the Senate building to move to arrest Sidious. There is likely going to be a bit of a skirmish here between Sidious's bodyguards and the Coruscant Guard, and realistically, Sidious won't be arrested, he'll probably be killed. Now, what is this going to mean? Because now both the Jedi and the Empire are gone. Now, the Senate is in charge, and like it or not, they're still at war with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, so they're likely going to be putting ending that war at the top of the agenda. Now, remember, the CIS no longer has Dooku or Grievous to lead them, or Sidious to pull strings in secret, and they've basically lost at this stage. Interestingly, I don't believe that the CIS Council would be killed in this timeline, as once Sidious himself was killed, assuming that Anakin heard about it, he would likely return to the core worlds and try to rendezvous with Padme and escape. Once Sidious was dead, his entire mission was now void. He had nothing to gain from it. Now, although the Confederacy of Independent Systems is inevitably going to have to surrender because their droid army is still likely going to be getting shut down, the Separatist ruling council is not going to be so lucky. They at this point are basically the #1 enemy. The Republic's going to have worked out that they will have worked with Sidious. It's very likely that once all this had taken place, the Senate will have launched an investigation into what exactly had happened, and it would reveal that Sidious was behind the entire Clone Wars, and that the Separatist Council had aided him. So the Separatist Council are going to be the most wanted fugitives in the entire galaxy at this point, and they're definitely going to be going into hiding. It's also probably going to reveal that the Jedi were actually innocent, and the massacre that took place was completely unwarranted. For this reason, the Republic and the Senate are going to try to regain communication with the surviving Jedi and organise a peace agreement ASAP. We're going to be saying that the Confederacy itself is going to rejoin the Republic, as they're not going to have any other choice without the financial support of the Council. And the Council, once the war is basically lost, they're going to take their assets and run as far as they can to their strongholds and hidey holes all around the Outer Rim. At the end of the day, once the war's lost, they're not going to spend another credit on it. Kamino would also likely be occupied by the Republic, and another investigation will be launched. It would involve arresting key cloning scientists who knew about the inhibitor chips and aided Sidious in his plans. As well as this, the production of troops would stop immediately, and clone armies as well as droid armies would likely be outlawed in an emergency bill that would pass immediately. Eventually, the Jedi would be found innocent officially, and the Senate would elect a new Chancellor. I believe that realistically, the remaining Jedi would be forced to hunt down Skywalker and Padme to bring Anakin to justice for the slaughter at the temple in which he commanded. And they probably would be able to find him. Anakin at this point may have actually realised what had happened, and he may try to redeem himself by surrendering, or he may still be on his mad path across the dark side trying to defend Padme, and he may be killed. If he is arrested, he would either be executed or he would be imprisoned for the remainder of his days without question. At the end of the day, he was part of one of the bloodiest massacres of the entire Clone Wars, even if it was under Sidious's instruction. The big problem comes from what to do with the clones in this scenario. I mean, they're incredibly dangerous. Who knows what other programs Sidious had stored away in them? At the same time, they're still responsible for saving the Republic and winning the war. It's very likely all the clones would have to undergo surgery to remove the inhibitor chip, and once the Separatists were brought to justice and the galaxy had cooled down from the war, they would likely begin to be phased out. Ultimately, this would be a very interesting scenario. It's likely the CIS Council would be arrested and punished very, very heavily for their crimes. The Jedi would very slowly rebuild their order, but altogether, the people's faith in the galactic government would be shaken thoroughly, and it could take decades, centuries, before people would ever really trust the people who are supposed to be in charge of the galaxy ever again. I mean, at the end of the day, one man had hoodwinked the entire galaxy into a massive galactic-scale conflict of butchering one another for 3 whole years. But what do you guys think would happen? What would the Republic do with Anakin and the clones? And do you believe that the CIS Council would be arrested, or would they be killed? Thank you for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. But most importantly, thank you for watching. I do hope you're all staying safe with current events, and I'll see you next time.